The streets are quieter now. Last night, laughter echoed down sidewalks. Children shuffled in oversized costumes, and porch lights glowed like tiny stages. The candy bowls are empty this morning, the decorations slightly tilted after the night's breeze. On one dining chair sits a plastic mask, its elastic strap stretched and tired. It waits, forgotten, in the pale light of the day after Halloween. Most masks are meant for a night. You put them on for fun, play a role, and let them go when the party ends. But some masks linger. They slip into the workday smile you put on at 9 a.m., the polite nod in a meeting, the "I'm fine" offered at dinner when you're not. These masks don't make noise when they come off, because they never do. They just stay, day after day, pressing closer to your skin. Imagine sitting at the kitchen table, the mask on the chair across from you like a quiet guest. Your coffee is cooling, untouched. You rub your forehead, already tired, though the day has only begun. There's nothing frightening here, no ghosts or skeletons like last night, and yet the air carries its own weight. The truth is, masks are heavier than they look. The plastic ones from Halloween pinch after an hour, fog with your breath, leave a faint mark on your cheeks. The everyday ones, the smile you force, the silence you wear, leave deeper marks. You feel them most at night, when you fall into bed and wonder why you are so tired from a day of pretending. It's not just the pretending, it's the fear behind it. Fear that if you took off the mask, someone would flinch or turn away, or fail to understand. So you hold it on a little longer, hoping tomorrow will be easier. And yet, there is another truth. Every mask has an edge. Every mask can be set down. The one on the chair proves it. Left behind after the laughter, it waits as a reminder. What is playful for a night becomes suffocating if you never let it go. #Meta, username Slate, license 0.05. Maybe you remember your own Halloween as a child. The thrill of transformation, the rush of being someone else for a while. That thrill is harmless when you know you'll come home and peel the costume away. But now, as an adult, the disguises feel less like play and more like duty. You smile when you're weary. You laugh when you ache. You act strong when your arms tremble. The mask on the chair doesn't accuse you. It simply sits there, waiting. Silent proof that you don't have to carry it into today. And yet, you feel its pull. After all, the mask has protected you. It made the workplace smoother, the conversation easier, the relationship less risky. But at what cost? This morning's scene is quiet, ordinary, almost forgettable. And yet in its stillness, a question whispers. What if the mask you wore for fun one night never came off? There is a pause here, like the deep breath before the kettle hums or the moment you lift the blinds. It's a pause that holds choice. You can move into the day with the practiced grin, the nod that hides your heart, or you can notice the mask lying there, waiting for you to decide. The symbol is simple, a bit of plastic on a chair, but it holds the weight of a life, because what begins as play can become prison, and what is set down, finally, can become freedom. For now, the room is still. The candy wrappers rustle faintly as you push them aside. Light stretches across the table, catching the hollow eyes of the mask. It is watching you, or maybe, for the first time, you are watching it. And in that quiet, a hinge turns. The story begins. The office hum is steady, almost like white noise. Computers blink awake, keyboards chatter in uneven rhythms. The printer coughs once before settling into silence. In the middle of it all, you sit with a mask no one can see. It isn't the plastic one from Halloween anymore. That mask stayed behind on the chair. This one is quieter, subtler. It looks like cheerfulness, a bright nod when your manager passes by. It sounds like an easy, "I'm good, thanks," When someone asks how you're doing, it even shapes itself into laughter, though inside the laughter feels hollow. The truth is simpler. You are exhausted. But exhaustion is hard to say out loud, so the mask speaks for you. It smiles. It hides the shadows under your eyes. It makes you look steady, even when your hands tremble a little at the keyboard. You tell yourself the same lines, day after day. Keep it light. Don't make waves. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel stronger. These lines tighten around you like the elastic of last night's mask. Each repetition presses deeper, until you almost forget what your real voice sounds like. At lunch, someone shares a joke. You join the laughter. The sound leaves your lips easily enough, but your chest doesn't lift with it. You wonder, quietly, if anyone notices the difference. Then you correct yourself. Of course they don't. The mask is working. And at home, the pattern continues. You sit at the table, listening more than speaking, nodding even when you disagree. Sometimes silence feels safer than truth. It spares the awkward pause, the possible argument, the risk of being misunderstood. Silence, too, is a kind of mask. It is strange how something that begins as protection can turn into a prison. The smile was once a bridge, helping you connect when words were hard. The silence once gave you time to gather your thoughts, but now both feel heavier. They do not serve you, they silence you. The mask does not slip when you are alone either.
It waits in your reflection. Eyes that don't quite meet themselves in the mirror. Shoulders that slump as soon as the door closes. Pretending is heavy work, and by evening you feel the weight of it pressing down, layer after layer. Still, you try to keep perspective. I'm lucky, you whisper to yourself. Others have it worse. I shouldn't complain. These words too become a disguise. Gratitude is important, yes, but used like this it becomes another mask, another way of hiding what aches. And deep down, you know what aches. It isn't just tiredness. It is the loneliness of being unseen. It is the quiet ache of not sharing the truth of who you are, your fears, your doubts, your tender heart. The mask hides pain, but it also hides possibility. If no one sees the real you, no one can love the real you. And that thought stings most of all. Still you wear it, because the mask feels safer, because it feels less risky to pretend than to reveal. But somewhere inside, the question won't let go. How long can I keep this up? You glance again at last night's plastic mask, still resting on the chair in memory. Its hollow eyes remind you of your own forced smile. The similarity is too sharp to ignore, and the whisper grows louder. Pretending might feel easier, but it is costing you something precious. For now, though, you keep moving. The office hum continues, the dinner plates clink, the mask holds, but inside, you feel the pressure building, and in that pressure, a hinge begins to turn toward a crack, toward a moment when the mask will no longer stay in place. The day is ordinary enough until it isn't. You are walking through the motions, emails, small talk, the rhythm of another day where the mask stays steady on your face. Then, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to crack the surface. It happens when a colleague pauses by your desk. They tilt their head, studying you for a moment longer than usual. "Hey," they ask gently, "are you really okay?" The words are simple, but they land with surprising weight. For a second, your practiced smile almost slips. You want to nod quickly, to reassure them, to keep the mask firmly in place. But in that small pause, you feel how tight the mask has become. Or maybe the moment comes at home. A child looks up at you, eyes searching. "Why are you sad behind your smile?" they ask. And suddenly, the disguise feels thinner, almost transparent. Children see what adults often miss. Their honesty pierces through the costume you've worn too long.
Either way, the mask fogs from the inside, the way the Halloween mask once did. You feel your own breath trapped, hot and shallow. Pretending has become suffocating. You sit quietly with the realization, if I don't take this mask off soon, I will suffocate. Not in the literal sense, but in the way a soul can suffocate. Pressed flat by the weight of never being seen. This is the turning point. It isn't a grand crisis or a dramatic collapse. It's something smaller, more human, more piercing. A question asked, a glance that lingers, a child's voice naming the truth. The moment feels like a pinprick of light through heavy fabric, tiny, but impossible to ignore. And in that moment, a deeper thought arrives. If this continues, if every day becomes another performance, if every smile is borrowed, if every silence swallows your real voice, what will remain of you? What parts of you will wither from lack of air? It is here that the cost reveals itself. Not just tiredness, not just stress. The cost is the slow erosion of the self. Piece by piece, the real you disappears, covered by layer after layer of performance. The mask has been useful, yes. It helped you survive, helped you avoid conflict, helped you fit in. But now you see what it takes in return, and the price is too high. There is a pause in the room. The hum of the office fades. The dishes at home are quiet. You hear your own breath, and you feel the truth settle. Comfort is costing me something irreplaceable, myself. It is not shame that fills you in this moment. It is clarity, a calm knowing that the path you are on cannot continue forever. Something must shift, because even safety, when it suffocates, is no longer safe. Your eyes drift again to the image of the mask, whether it is memory or reality. Hollow eyes, empty smile. You realize you have been carrying its expression in your own face, and suddenly, you can't unsee it. This is the crack moment, not the end, but the beginning of an ending, the first small fracture in the wall of pretending. And though it is uncomfortable, even frightening, there is also relief. Because once something cracks, light can enter. Once a question is asked, it cannot be unheard. You take a slow breath. The mask is still on, but now you know it. And knowing is the first step toward change. The chair creaks softly as you lean back. Somewhere, a kettle hisses. Life continues in its ordinary rhythm, but inside something has shifted. You are no longer just wearing the mask. You are watching it. And the watching is what will make all the difference. Kierkegaard once wrote that despair is not simply sadness. Despair, he said, is being untrue to yourself, living as though the voice within does not matter. When you hold that thought beside the image of the mask, something comes into focus. Despair is not just the heaviness you carry at night, or the tired smile you paste on in the morning. Despair is the gap between who you are and who you pretend to be. It is the ache of living as a stranger inside your own life. And yet, even here, Kierkegaard offers something surprising. He does not condemn despair. He treats it as a signal, a teacher. The pain of it is not punishment. It is an invitation to return to yourself. What if your sadness is not your enemy? What if it is your silence that hurts you most? The mask helps for a while, yes. It smooths over tension. It avoids awkwardness. It keeps you safe in spaces where truth feels risky. But the longer it stays, the more it muffles the sound of your real voice. That muffled silence, that is despair. Think of how many places we practice this. On social media, where we post the brighter angles and crop out the mess. At work, where "I'm fine" is the safer answer than "I'm tired." At home, where nodding keeps the peace but starves intimacy. Each moment feels small on its own, but together they weave a life that no longer fits. Kierkegaard believed that anxiety and despair were not curses, but calls. They were signals that you are standing at a crossroads. Continue hiding or step into truth. And stepping into truth, however shaky, is where freedom begins. This is not about tearing the mask off in one grand gesture. It is about noticing when it presses too hard, when the elastic digs into your skin, when your breath fogs and you can't quite breathe. Those signals are not failures. They are invitations. And here is the quiet beauty. Once you admit the mask is heavy, you no longer have to carry it alone. Honesty creates space for others to step closer.
Sometimes it surprises you how a whispered truth brings not rejection but recognition. You say, "I'm tired," and someone replies, "Me too." You say, "I'm struggling," and someone says, "I've been there." The mask falls and connection rises. The world is full of tiny confessions, on TikTok under #healing, in late-night texts, in whispered journal lines. People are risking honesty every day, and the courage of one voice makes another possible. So let's pause with Kierkegaard's reminder. Despair is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that you are alive, and that your soul is longing for truth. When you hear the hum of the office or the clatter of dishes at home, listen for the quieter hum beneath it, the call to breathe, to speak, to live as yourself. That hum is your real life, asking you to step in. The mask is still on the chair. It doesn't need to be destroyed. It simply doesn't need to be worn every hour of the day. You can choose to set it down, if only for a moment, and notice the relief of your own breath filling your chest again. Diamond line. Despair is not the end of you. It is the invitation back to you. And when you see it that way, the mask is no longer a prison. It is simply a reminder. You don't need to wear it forever. The moment of realization has cracked the surface. Now the question becomes simple, though not easy. What does it look like to live without the mask, even for a moment? The temptation is to imagine a dramatic change, a grand unveiling where you cast off every disguise and speak with blazing honesty in every room you enter. But life rarely works that way. Freedom does not come all at once. It comes in small, steady choices that build trust between you and yourself. Kierkegaard reminds us that despair is being untrue to who we are. So the antidote begins in small truths, tiny sentences, small gestures, one step at a time. Start with a single, honest sentence. The next time someone asks, "How are you?" resist the urge to smile and say, "Fine." Instead, try a little truth. "I'm tired today." "It's been a heavy week." Or even, "I don't know how I feel right now." These words may seem small, but they create space. They allow your real self to breathe, even for a moment. Another step. Allow silence to break its disguise. Too often, silence becomes a mask, a way of avoiding conflict or hiding pain. But silence can also be a doorway. The next time you want to nod and move on, pause. Take one breath longer. You don't need to fill the silence with performance. You can let it be what it is. Honest space. You can also write. Keep a notebook or even a note on your phone and answer one question each day. What mask did I wear most today? And what would happen if I set it down? You might be surprised at the answers. Some masks protect, some exhaust, some you're ready to outgrow. Writing them down makes them visible, and what is visible can be changed. Diamond line. Every time you take off one mask, your breath deepens. There are other practices, gentle ones, that can help. Step outside for 2 minutes of air, feeling your own skin in the open light. Place a glass of water by the sink tonight, so tomorrow you'll see it waiting and remember, I cared for myself yesterday.
#@Meta. Pause. Sext 0.05. Send one message you've been holding back. Even if it's simple, I was thinking of you. Each act is small, yet each act teaches your heart a new rhythm, honesty, care, connection. And here is the gift. Small truths invite larger ones. When you share that you're tired, someone may nod in recognition. When you allow silence, someone else may fill it with their own truth. When you write down your mask, you may find the courage to set it aside for an hour, a day, or forever. You don't have to remove every mask at once. That would be too much, too fast. Instead, think of it as loosening the elastic, letting your skin breathe again, trusting that you don't need to hide in every room. The power of these small acts is not that they solve everything instantly. It's that they break the illusion that pretending is the only option. They remind you that freedom is possible in small doses, and those doses add up. Kierkegaard's wisdom was not abstract. He was writing about ordinary people, ordinary lives, ordinary despair. And his answer was not grandiosity, but authenticity. Begin where you are. Begin with the smallest truth you can bear to speak. Think of the mask on the chair. It isn't evil, and it isn't your enemy. It is simply waiting, showing you that you have a choice. Today, you can pick it up again, or today, you can let it rest while you speak one sentence that is fully yours. That is how a life changes, not by tearing everything apart, but by reclaiming one small breath at a time. And when you do, you might notice something almost miraculous. The people who truly matter will not flinch. They will meet your honesty with their own. And in that exchange, belonging begins.
The day has moved quietly toward evening. The work is done, the dishes stacked, the hum of life softening into stillness. On the chair, the mask remains, unworn now, its hollow eyes catching the last light slipping through the window. You notice it differently tonight. This morning, it looked like an invitation to pretend. Now, it looks like a question. Will you carry it again tomorrow? Or will you leave it where it rests? There is no judgment in the question, only possibility. You reach for the window latch and the air shifts. Cool night air spills into the room, brushing against your skin. You breathe deeply, and for a moment, you realize how rare that full breath has been. With the mask set down, your lungs expand more easily. The truth is simple. The world outside has not changed. The street is the same. The routine will begin again tomorrow. The people around you will carry their own unseen burdens. But you have changed. You have tasted what it feels like to sit without pretending. And that small shift is where freedom lives. Diamond line. Breathing fully is the only costume you were ever meant to wear. The mask will not vanish. Some days, you may pick it up again without thinking. Some situations may still call for a layer of protection. That is human. But tonight reminds you that the mask is not fused to your skin. It can be set down. It can stay on the chair. What matters is not perfection. What matters is the courage to choose honesty, even once. To say, I'm tired, instead of, I'm fine. To allow silence instead of a nod. To offer a glimpse of your real self, even if it feels risky. Each time you do, you are teaching your soul to breathe again. You are proving to yourself that despair is not the end of you, but the invitation back to you. The mask on the chair is no longer frightening. It is simply a reminder. You always have a choice. So here is a gentle invitation as the night settles in. Take one small step today. Speak one true line. They were one honest word. Leave one mask unworn. It doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to be permanent. It only needs to be yours. The house grows quieter now. You sip water, feeling its coolness on your tongue. You glance again at the mask, but your eyes no longer linger. Instead, you look out the window. The world stretches wide and open, waiting. The truth is,
Life will keep asking you to play roles, to smooth edges, to nod when you want to speak. And some of those moments may still require a mask, but never forget, you are allowed to put it down. You are allowed to breathe fully and freely in the life that belongs only to you. The mask rests on the chair. You rise without it. The air feels lighter and so do you. And tomorrow, when the morning comes and the question whispers again, will you carry the mask or leave it behind? You will know that the choice is yours.